Send me down a drink, jokes Major Tom. The count goes on. 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Apollo moon landing was a huge leap in the American scientific space program, and it was really interesting with all the space and the spaceship.
Ugh, man. I got this test on this space rocket stuff and it's way too boring. I just can't take this. If only there was an easier way to learn about this stuff. Wait a second. That's it. Space Shuttle project for the NES. I always knew I could count on Nintendo to teach me stuff. Just like that one time it taught me how to use a keyboard. K, D, 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 K, D, J, J, F. Man, I'm gonna be typing fast in no time. Well anyways, let's pop this thing in and see what being an astronaut is really like. Huh, made by Absolute. Must be some educational game company or something. Oh wow, right away the game starts off with your Astronaut application. See, this is definitely the real deal, folks. But, is that supposed to be me? It looks less like an astronaut and more like an alien trying to look like one. Oh well, I guess that space training must be tough. So, what are we doing? I guess it's randomly deciding my space ID number and ship model or something? Wait, something's not right here. It's not letting me get past this screen. Oh, I see. It's not random at all. It flashes the information first, and then I have to memorize it and input it in the correct order. I should have known. Any old schmuck can't just send an application to be a spaceman. Unfortunately, every time you screw this up, you lose a life. And you only start off with 5 lives per mission. That's right, you can lose lives before the mission even starts. So make sure to enter that info carefully. Next up, it's time to fuel and board the space shuttle. It's pretty self-explanatory. You take the elevator, and the glowing objects let you know where you need to go and what you need to do. After you've done all that, you just need to go pick up your co-pilot and bring him back to the ship. There's a time limit though, so be sure to do it quickly. Also, those levers from earlier activated these things that go back and forth and can hinder the progress of the elevator and make you lose some time. Wow, you'd think that the scientists who built this thing would have put those things somewhere else, right? So now we're on to stage 2 of the mission, the space shuttle launch. All you have to do here is roll 120 degrees, do the SRB separation, main engine cutoff, ET, we'll figure it out. Whoa, we're inside of a real spaceship. Just look at all these panels and monitors. Sure enough, the spaceship launches and we're on our way. Now, you might think that you'd control this like any other space shooter or airplane game at this point, but you'd be wrong. This isn't just a game, but a realistic simulation. That is to say, there's a quick time event style thing you have to do during launch. That's right, before Resident Evil 4, before Shenmue on Dreamcast, before all that, there was quick time events and Space Shuttle Project for NES. So yeah, the events themselves are pretty intuitive for the most part. The most basic one is simply pressing A or one of the directional buttons when the meter lines up to the right spot. Another common one is moving the bottom arrow left and right to meet the top one as quickly as possible. You might mess up once or twice the first time you encounter these since you don't know exactly what you're doing at first, but you should find them very easy to deal with after that. Once again, you should be careful, as one mistake equals one loss of life, just as with the data input part in the beginning. Some of these quick time events even help you gain an extra life if you do them correctly the first time, but it's usually on the more challenging ones that you'll face later on in the game. Once you've completed that section, you're on to stage 3, the actual space mission itself, which seems to consist of putting a new satellite into orbit. Alright, let's do it. Now, this part is simple enough. You just press A to release the satellite, and then maneuver it into the correct position in orbit. Oh, and look out for the other satellites. They'll cost you a life if you hit one, and you'll have to start the stage all over again. You may also notice these things that look like floating turrets from Portal or something. But brushing past these actually gives you an extra life. I don't know why, but Good to know. The controls here are a little odd at first since the satellite has this sort of inertia to it, which makes it take a while to speed up and slow down. But it's not too difficult. You just gotta release it on top of the screen and you're good to go. Wait, what? Oh, okay. So the satellite actually takes a little while to activate and start floating, so it needs a lot of space when you release it. That makes things a little harder. Alright, come on, open. Phew, that was close. But hey, that means I completed the mission. Alright. Wait, stage 4? Oh, that's right. I completed the mission, but now I've actually got to land back on Earth. Wow, they're not pulling any punches with this game. Luckily, the landing process just consists of another QuickTime event section, which you've already dealt with before. Whoa, it didn't have all these flashing colors last time though. What's going on here? Is my co-pilot drunk or something? Drinking moon beer? Well, all you have to do is make it through despite your inebriated co-pilot, land the ship, and you're home free. Look, you even made it in the newspaper. After that, you get a password that lets you skip straight to the second mission next time you want to play. Mission 2 is starting construction on a space station. Wow, cool. The stage 1 here starts the same as the last mission, except this time you need to board a mission and payload specialist along with your co-pilot. That means that you really have to make the most of your time and try to do things quickly. Once liftoff begins with stage 2, you'll be introduced to a new QuickTime challenge, the valves. This basically just serves as a Simon Says type of thing. You memorize which circles flash in what order and repeat. Everything else is pretty much the same, so if you're able to complete the last mission, you should be okay here. What isn't the same, however, is stage 3. This time you have to carry these metal squares to the correct spots in order to build the space station. Once you've placed a square in the correct position, you just head back to your spaceship to pick up the next one. Once again, your controls have this sort of weight to it, so you need to be extra careful and avoid the satellites in your path. Like that one. You can't do things too slowly, however, since you have a limited amount of oxygen, which you can refill using these canisters placed on either end of the level. The best strategy here is to analyze how quickly the objects are flying by and try to judge when to charge through. Also, watch out for these steel beams that can get in your way and delay you further. How's it going, turret? Once you've placed the final square, you just gotta get back to your ship and begin your journey home. Once again, it's similar to the last mission, except now you have another challenge added. This time you need to correctly align the outline of the spaceship by quickly sliding it in the correct direction and pressing A. Other than that, you basically just land as normal. Mission 3 adds 2 more people to your crew, the scientist and the engineer. I'm not really sure why they had to come too, maybe they just wanted to impress their friends or something. Just as with the boarding, there's 2 more QuickTime challenges added to the takeoff section. First, there's tracking. You simply follow the waveform with the D-pad from beginning to end. This is honestly my least favorite segment because it isn't challenging at all and it takes forever. The second new challenge they add is this vernier thing. It's a lot better. You wait for this opening to slow down in front of your arrow and then press up or down to go through without touching the sides. It feels very satisfying for some reason. The mission here is to retrieve a satellite from orbit and to make repairs to it. So all you have to do is avoid all these asteroids, grab the satellite, and return to the ship. If an asteroid hits you, then it won't take a life, but it will cost you some time. Which makes me wonder, why the hell did they decide to leave a satellite around all these asteroids anyway? Well, as long as you're careful enough, you should be able to get the satellite no problem. Now all I have to do is return it to the ship. I think. Come on, get in there. I'm running out of oxygen. What am I supposed to do with this thing? For a while I just wasn't sure what was going on, but apparently the game is just very finicky about re-entering the ship on this level. It took me a little while, but I finally got in there. The last part is the same old, same old. Do the challenges, land your ship. And look at that, the president even compliments your crew on a successful mission. I should have become an astronaut a long time ago. Mission 4 begins ramping up the difficulty right at the beginning. Not only do you have your new 6-man crew to board, but the obstacles that run back and forth go by more quickly, and there's also been 5 seconds cut off the timer. This leaves you very small room for error, forcing you to be very efficient. This time, there's only one more challenge added to the launching segment, called Gimbal. Here, you simply press A when the meter has reached the right area of the meter, and B once it's hit the left area. I'm not sure why this was added so late in the game, as it's not very challenging, but at least it's less boring than the tracking segment. Once you actually get to space, you'll find that you've returned to the space station construction from earlier. The challenge here has been increased as well, including more squares that have to be carried a longer distance, a section with these laser walls that will cost you a life, and more satellite obstacles that are strategically placed in order to trick you into crashing right into them. The main trick here is patience. It may take a while to take every single square from the ship to the construction site, but don't feel tempted to rush. It's a surefire way to mess up and lose a life. And being low on lives makes the landing sequence at the end much more stressful than usual. Just one mistake could cost you the entire mission. And speaking of missions, this next one's pretty big. Rescuing a marooned Soviet cosmonaut. This boarding segment increases the speed of the obstacles even more, and adds one final member to your crew, a physician. It's pretty tough to board everyone in time, but not impossible. There aren't any new challenges added to the launching phase this time, but some of them are made more difficult, particularly the Simon Says valves. The main mission this time may be the coolest one yet. You simply avoid the countless obstacles as you make your way upwards to rescue your fellow spaceman. I still don't understand why all these satellites were placed near an asteroid field, but whatever I guess. Once you reach the stranded cosmonaut... Oh, whoops. Well, at least it starts you back up there. So yeah. At this point, all you need to do is get back to your ship before your oxygen runs out and you're home free. They should make a movie out of this. At this point, the landing segment should be a cakewalk, and after that, the cosmonaut is saved. And here's good old Gorbachev to give you his thanks. Wait, hold on a second. So the Cold War ended when the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, and this game came out in 1991. Did I just end the Cold War? Well, anyway, final mission. The boarding segment here makes the last missions look like a tutorial. At this point, you basically need to be a speedrunner in training if you want to board in time. Speaking of speedrunning, I even figured out my own trick. If you quickly push the opposite direction of where you're trying to go when the obstacle's about to hit you, it will actually push you towards your destination. Pretty cool. The launching part is basically the same as last time, but when you actually reach your destination, you may be a bit disappointed to see that the final mission leads you back to the space station yet again. One of my favorite things about this game is how it continuously changes things up from mission to mission, so I'm not a big fan of this. When it comes to final missions though, I can definitely see why they decided to put this last. It is tough. If the last mission tested your patience like waiting for a package to come from out of the country, then this is like waiting for a package to come while you're on the moon. It just seems to go on and on. The difficulty comes less from straight up challenge and more from an endurance aspect. Over time, you start to fall into a trance, and eventually you're just bound to zone out and make a mistake. You can't speed things up by rushing either, as that only increases your chances of losing more lives. You really have to take it slow. Alright, final part is placed. Just gotta get back now, but I don't have any lives left. Damn, just one mistake and it's over. Whoa, that was close. Phew. Okay, now I just have to land back on Earth. Normally this part doesn't worry me, but I can't afford to mess up even once. Come on. Come on. Whew. Jeez. I did it. And what's the reward after such a huge stressful mission? Well, the president has a fireworks show in your honor. I think I earned it. And that's it. No end credits or anything. Though, to be fair, they do show you some credits during the opening. David Crane. Where have I seen that name before? Oh, right. He made a Boy and His Blob. Why do I remember that game? Oh. Never mind. Wow. Space Shuttle Project. Well, for a later NES title, the graphics are pretty good, controls well enough, and the missions throw enough variation at you that it keeps it interesting throughout. Some people might get sick of the frequent QuickTime events, but I think they're pretty good, and they actually add some difficulty to them as the game progresses. There's a few minor flaws, like when you're trying to figure out what to do in certain missions, but you could usually figure it out pretty quickly. And if you can't, the game's password system makes it so you can save your progress. Overall, I liked it a lot. And the best part is, I'm basically a certified astronaut now. I gotta send my application to NASA right away.